Son of a Night Fury, written by Dragonfan 101. 4. A village raid. Spike didn't know how long they'd been flying ever since they finally left their home island and set out to see the rest of the world. It looked to have taken the whole day as they kept on flying, and even now, Spike's still in awe of how he's finally able to fly with his father. They spent this last day since morning after they left, flying around this large and beautiful world he's gotten to see the sights of. They had flown over many islands and saw just how different some are compared to the ones they live on are. Some of different conditions for dragons to live on, like in terms of temperature and how they go about their lives, and they got to see many other places over the whole day. Spike knew his dad felt really great to finally be able to fly long distances ever since they left. After over a decade of being raised by him, they're finally out in the world together, trying to find answers on their own kind and where they came from, and find a new home. The sun had already set over the horizon after the two of them set out from their home. Spike had been mostly silent almost the entire day after they left, and even his father was, seeing the world from so high above, and all the places they haven't been to go by in such a short time. It was a feeling Spike would never forget after seeing it the first time. Spike smiled proudly at all of this. He had gotten used to his wings by now after all this flying, thankfully, and he and his father don't look to be slowing down either. Wow. This was what it was like for you when you got to fly, Dad? Spike asked with awe as they flew over the clouds, seeing the starry night sky above them as they peacefully flew around. Yeah. It's one of the many things I've missed ever since I met you. Sometimes I almost forgot what it was like flying for this long, and seeing sights like this. He replied with a smile while Spike felt really happy being able to do this with him. To think I'm actually doing this with you, having finally grown wings, and now, we're really getting to explore this world, and find a new home for us. Was this what you were trying to do before you even found me? Spike asked with concern while he looked at his father. I hardly remember it after you hatched, honestly. The joy I felt over the years of raising you, being on that island, and seeing you grow, that was all I thought I could focus on until we'd finally left. I didn't think you'd sprout wings like this, to be honest, but now that we're finally out of there, it's great to be out here again. He replied while Spike and Toothless flew through the clouds a bit and stayed close to Hector. While Spike was glad to hear that from his father, he was still worried on where they could go to find a place to stay. They'll eventually have to rest since they can't keep flying forever. Dad, what do you think we could stay for a bit before going off to find answers? It's pretty late and I'm sure we're gonna need to find somewhere soon. Spike asked, which made him think of any possible place. Well, we could try and find a large land or island that could be close and take a rest for the night, but you need to remember, we must be careful out here. We may have but little trouble on our island, but out here, there will always be a dragon or even a human out there trying to kill us. Until we find the right place, we need to keep our guard up. He said in a warning tone which worried Spike a bit. Right. This wasn't gonna be easy anyway. So where do you think we should go? Spike asked as they started to see some smaller islands below through the clouds, and he tried figuring out something that could work. Well, maybe we could. His father couldn't even finish his sentence before he suddenly sensed something was wrong. He started to groan as he shook his head around as a strange sound could be heard, and he felt like he was hearing something speak to him, and Spike noticed his father was acting off. Dad? Dad, what's wrong? Spike asked with worry as his father opened his eyes, and his pupils were slits, which meant something very bad. He suddenly saw his father swoop through the clouds at faster speeds, and Spike yelped with surprise before he tried catching up with him since he was a really fast flyer. What's happening? Spike asked with worry as he flew above him to try and get an answer, but he didn't even reply, only with a small roar, and that made Spike look very afraid, knowing something's very wrong. He soon started to hear what sounded like more roars nearby him, and as he felt his heart beating faster, he looked around and could see dozens of more dragons starting to appear near them, like they were heading somewhere. Spike did everything he could not to speak since he isn't like the other dragons he's seen here. He could see dozens of grankles, deadly netters, hideous icklebacks, and even a monstrous nightmare or two. Whatever was going on, it wasn't good at all. What's going on? Spike thought to himself with fear as he did his best to stay close to his dad while not startling him. He could hear multiple dragon roars while they were looking at him, like they already noticed something strange about him, and Spike only gulped with fear as he didn't say anything, and just looked forward and kept flying alongside them after this has happened, wondering where they're even heading. The night had seemingly passed without much noticing it, as the moonlight shone in the sky and reflected over the water. The camera pans over the sea as we see a shot of what looks like a completely new island Spike or his father has never been to before. There were many buildings built on it with what looked like humans inhabiting it. It was a large and ancient-looking place. Despite how old it looked, a lot of the stuff around here looked recently built, and as the owls hoop through the night sky, and the villagers go about their night, we hear a new voice start to narrate to catch us up to speed. This is Berg. It's 12 days north of Hopeless, and a few degrees south of freezing to death. It's located solidly on a meridian, a misery. A voice narrated as the camera pans upwards and shows a large shot of the whole village to see it in full. My village, in a word, sturdy. But this place has been here for 7 generations, but every single building is new here. We have fishing, hunting, and a charming view of the sunsets. The voice continued before we cut to a few sheep eating some of the grass around the place. The only problems are the pests. The voice went on before something really sharp and deadly swooped down from the sky and took it away, which started to put the village on alert. You see, most places have mice or mosquitoes. We have. The voice said as we'd cut to a young, skinny-looking boy with brown hair and casual clothing seeing a creature he recognized too well attacking the village, and as it noticed him through the house, it shot a blast of fire at him which made the boy quickly close it with fear, which barely saved him. Dragons. The boy finished with a look of fear as the house started to catch fire. He quickly ran out of a spare door the house had and saw the entire village was once again being attacked by a swarm of dragons. This was a regular occurrence here for everyone, and they always have to be prepared for them. Most people would leave, but not us. We're Vikings, we have stubbornness issues. He continued while one Viking held down a Grankle who was in the air and was soon tossed away from it. My name's Hiccup. Great name. I know. But it's not the worst. Parents believe a hideous name would frighten off gnomes and trolls, like a charming Viking demeanor wouldn't do that. Hiccup introduced as he kept running through the village as every other Viking who was much larger, muscular, and more up for a fight than him ran past him. Morning, Hiccup. One of them shouted as he ran past him while Hiccup tried finding a safer place. Hiccup, what are you doing out? Get inside. Another villager shouted as he ran up a steeper hill as multiple villagers told him the same thing before he was grabbed by a much larger person just before he ran into a pathway that got torched a second before. Hiccup. What is he doing out again? He realized asking that's a waste of time and just looked towards Hiccup to get things moving. What are you doing out? Get inside. The large Viking ordered while Hiccup ran somewhere he knew would be safe as he looked over all the dragons attacking the place. That's Stoic the Vast, chief of the tribe. They say that when he was a baby, he popped a dragon's head clean off its shoulders. Hiccup narrated again while Stoic grabbed a large piece of debris and managed to hit a netter which was flying away from the strong hit. Do I believe that story? Yes, I do. Hiccup asked himself before Stoic went up to another Viking for reports. What have we got? Stoic asked while the Viking kept his shield up. Grankles, netters, zipplebacks. Owen Hork saw a monstrous nightmare. He reported as a dragon suddenly shot a blast of fire right nearby them which made some villagers scream a bit, but Stoic didn't even flinch at it and just kept looking up. Any night freeze? Stoic asked with a hopeful look. None so far, chief. He replied while Stoic brushed a bit of fire off his armor. Good. Stoic said with some relief as the villagers were lighting up large torches that gave them better view of the dragons attacking the place, and we see Hiccup quickly run through the place before arriving at a small armory of weapons and materials used to kill or capture dragons, and within it was another Viking who had missing arm and leg replaced with replacements that could be used for different purposes. Oh, nice of you to join the party, I thought you'd been carried off. He said jokingly while he hammered down on the sword as Hiccup ran inside the place. Who, me? No, come on, Amway. Too muscular for their taste. They wouldn't know what to do with all this. Hiccup said as he tried flexing his arm which barely showed any muscle at all. Well, they need toothpicks, don't they? He asked as Hiccup went to give some more Vikings weapon to fight off this raid. The meathead with an attitude and interchangeable hands has got her. I've been his apprentice since I was, well, littler than I am now. Hiccup explained while he saw all the dragons attack the village, burning it down in a blaze which meant there to be more to rebuild while Stoic had an idea on how to fight back. We moved to the lower defenses, we're going to attack with the catapults. Stoic ordered which the Vikings understood, and they followed him to the catapults as the fire was spreading across the village. See? Old village, lots and lots of new houses, it's a common thing we have to deal with at this point. Hiccup narrated again as a Viking screamed to a smaller group of kids about the fire spreading. Alright, let's go. One of the kids shouted as they ran by the shop Hiccup was in, and he knew who each of them were as they went to get multiple buckets to put it out. Oh, and that's Fishlegs, Snotlet, the twins, Ruffed and Tuffed, and Hiccup explained as he saw the girl put out a small bit of fire before a blast exploded behind her while she was walking away in an amazing way, and Hiccup couldn't help but stare in awe with the amazing sight. Astrid. Hiccup finished as he saw the kids join up with her while they kept going to put more fire out. Oh, their job is so much cooler than mine. Hiccup said with a bit of jealousy as he leaned out a bit before Godber grabbed his shirt knowing he was trying to do something stupid again. "Oh come on, let me out please. I need to make my mark." Hiccup begged as he set him back down. "Oh, you've made plenty of marks already, all in the wrong places." Godber replied knowing how much he's messed up with stuff like this before. "Please, give me at least 2 minutes, I'll kill a dragon, my life will get infinitely better. I might even get a date." Hiccup argued back as Godber took out a few weapons again. "You can't swing a hammer, or throw an axe, you can't even throw one of these." Godber countered again while he held up a set of ropes that were chained to some iron balls before another Viking came up and took it before he threw it to a grankle in the sky which wrapped around and restrained it from flying anymore. Hiccup tried looking for something that would be of help to him, and he saw a little launcher that could help. "Right, well this will do it for me." Hiccup replied confidently while he patted the thing a bit, which suddenly triggered it, and it launched a small hammer from it which ended up flying towards a Viking and knocked him out, which frustrated Godber. "See? Now this right here is what I'm talking about," Godber complained, since this is what's messed things up so many times before. It was just a mild calibration issue, Hiccup argued back before Godber stopped him mid-sentence again. "Hiccup, if you ever want to get out there and fight dragons, you need to stop all this," Godber said while looking over Hiccup's whole body. "But you just pointed to all of me," Hiccup argued back, which was the point. "Yes, that is what I'm saying. Stop being all of you," Godber explained, which made Hiccup realize what he meant. "Oh," Hiccup said with realization while Godber did the same thing. "Oh yeah," Godber replied as they kept facing Hector. "You sir, are playing a dangerous game. Trying to keep this much raw Vikings contained. There will be consequences," Hiccup argued back again, which Godber just ignored again. "I'll take my chances. Sword. Sharpen. Now," Godber ordered as he handed him a sword, which Hiccup took to a sharpener to keep on working, much to his frustration. "One day I'll get out there. Because killing a dragon is everything around here." Hiccup continued again as we see multiple different dragons causing chaos throughout the village. "A Nethard. That's sure to get me at least noticed. But Grankles are tough, taking down one of those would definitely get me a girlfriend," Hiccup explained as a Grankle is seen biting down on a fence before ripping it off and flying away as the two-headed dragon sprays and lights up some explosive gas within a larger house. "Hideous Ickleback. Exotic, 2 heads, twice the status," Hiccup continued before they exploded the house, which revealed all of the sheep that the Vikings were trying to hide. "They found the sheep." One of the Vikings shouted as Stoic, and more of them were at the catapults like they were planning out to do. "Concentrate your fire on the lower decks," Stoic ordered as they moved the catapult around before it fired on the dragons trying to take the sheep for food. As this was happening, Spike was currently trying to fight his way through the village from both the Vikings and dragons after things went seriously wrong. He got separated from his dad during the whole raid after they all spread around to attack the village. He had never seen anything like this before in his life, and whatever going on here, it's something he has to try and stop. Why are they attacking this place? Is it just for food? Or for something else? Spike thought to himself while he saw more Netchers trying to burn the houses down, and Spike growled a bit before he felt the fire in him charge up, and he suddenly shot a powerful plasma blast at it which knocked them far away, and even that blast surprised Spike as he never did something like that before. That blast was just like my dad's. What was that? Spike asked himself as he stayed on all fours before he suddenly saw multiple Vikings charging at him with weapons that could kill him. Spike soon growled again before he suddenly did a bad flip away from their slashes which surprised them, and Spike used his tail and wrapped it around the shield before using his strength to twirl it around on the other Vikings, and he was able to disarm them before he tossed them far away. "Guess all those lessons I was taught wasn't for nothing," Spike said with surprise while he looked at his claws. He soon saw more of them charging at him again, which made him groan with frustration, and he soon shot another plasma blast near them which knocked them away. He wasn't one to kill, but he would at least do what he can to survive an attack like this. "I need to find my dad and snap him out of it. We need to get out of here before anything worse happens," Spike told himself while he looked up in the night sky to try and find any dragon that was hard to see within the sky, since that's where his dad usually flies for an attack. And as he looked up, he saw a monstrous nightmare attack one of the catapults trying to fend off the attack. Their kind could set themselves on fire, which made them harder to fight back, and he quickly looked around and tried doing anything to stop it. But fortunately for him, Stoic wasn't afraid of this beast, and he knew how to handle it. "I'll take care of this beast," Stoic said with anger before he delivered some hard hits to the dragon's face with his hammer before everyone heard a familiar screech within the sky. Spike knew who that belonged to, and as he looked in the sky with fear as he knew he was charging up a powerful blast. "Dad, no!" Spike shouted within his thoughts as he quickly spread his wings and took two off to the catapult to try and catch up with him. And then there's the ultimate prize no one's ever been able to see, we call it the... Hiccup narrated again before another villager shouted its name for him. Night Fury. One of them screamed as the sound got even louder. "Get down." Another screamed before a powerful plasma blast hit the entire place, which began to make it fall over while Spike chased after his shadow just in time. "Jump!" Stoic screamed as he and the other Vikings jumped off it while Hiccup was able to see this all happen. "This thing never steals food, never shows itself," and Hiccup said as the dragon shot another blast at the catapult which destroyed it completely. "Never misses." Hiccup finished while he felt determined to shoot it down. "No one's ever been able to kill a Night Fury, that's why I'm going to be the first." Hiccup thought to himself as Godber was getting ready to go out himself. "Man of Fort Hiccup, they need me out there." "Stay put there," Godber instructed while Hiccup looked at him with a blank face. "You know what I mean," Godber concluded before he made a loud battle cry and went to fight off the other dragons. But not wanting to miss his chance, he grabbed the contraption he saw earlier and started running out with it away from the shop, which upset multiple Vikings who needed weapons. "Hiccup, where are you going? Come back here now!" Multiple shouted as Hiccup ran as fast as he could. "I know, sorry, I'll be right back," Hiccup shouted as he ran off to find a safe place to fire it, and multiple netters were trying to take the sheep just before Stoic and multiple Vikings threw a large set of ropes on them and tried pinning them down. Stoic jumped high into the air before he grabbed one of their jaws and shut it so they don't shoot more fire. "Let's get them." "Mind yourselves. These devils still have juice in them," Stoic shouted as he strangled one down as it struggled to try and break free. Hiccup ran towards a clear spot that hadn't been set to flames yet. The night sky could still be clear to see, and nothing had attacked this part of the village yet. Hiccup quickly set up the device, which took the form that could be easy to launch the ropes and straps to any dragon he could get. "Come on, give me something to shoot at, give me something to shoot at, please," Hiccup whispered to himself as he looked at one single catapult which hadn't been attacked yet. Hiccup could hear what sounded like the Night Fury within the sky, and as he looked within the sky, he could faintly see something going through the sky nearly unseen. And at this very moment, Spike had managed to locate where his father was. He knew he was gonna try and shoot down that last catapult, and he tried everything he could to stop it. "Come on, I can make it," Spike shouted at himself as he heard his father charging up the blast again. Hiccup could hear the Night Fury too. He kept a close aim at the tower, knowing it's where he's gonna attack next, and as another powerful plasma blast shot it, he finally saw it fly by again at extremely fast speeds, and Hiccup screamed as he finally launched the thing and sent the thing flying to it. Spike managed to catch up with him just in time after he used that last blast, and just as he tried flying away, Spike screamed. He jumped onto his father's back and tried making him stop. "Dad, stop. This isn't you," Spike screamed as he could barely move him with how fast he's going. But then something happened. He felt something hit not just him, but his father too. It wrapped around both their bodies to the point he could barely move, and all he could hear was the Night Fury scream as they both went falling towards the forest in the distance. "No," Spike said weakly as he felt himself passing out as they started to crash through multiple trees and roughly crash against the ground far off from the village. And as Hiccup saw it all happen, he couldn't believe it. He actually managed to hit the Night Fury down. He didn't think he could actually do it, but he was amazed with the fact he actually managed to. "Oh, I hit it. Yes, I hit it. Did anyone see that?" Hiccup asked while turning around, hoping someone did, but unfortunately, the monstrous nightmare from before had crawled up from behind him and crushed the device he used, and Hiccup was able to notice him not too long after. "Except for you," Hiccup said with a disappointed look before the dragon started to charge at him, which made Hiccup run away in fear. Stoic could hear Hiccup screaming in the distance, and he saw him just ahead being chased by it, and he groaned with frustration knowing he's done something wrong again. "Do not let them escape," Stoic ordered as he went to save him. "Again." "Right," another shouted as Stoic rushed into battle quickly to save him. Hiccup screamed as he barely avoided being shot by one of its fire blasts, and tried hiding behind one of the torch's pillars, which also got torched. He breathed heavily as he hoped it wouldn't find him, but as he turned one corner to see if it was still behind him, the monstrous nightmare was behind him on the other side and almost attacked him before Stoic jumped in and tackled the thing away from him, which made it roar at him with rage. The dragon tried shooting more fire at Stoic, but could only cough up a small bit since he used up too much, which Stoic used to his advantage. "You're all out," Stoic said before he delivered really hard punches to the dragon's face, which gave it no choice but to retreat for now, and Stoic only brushed it off before he turned to Hiccup as the torch he was hiding behind finally fell down from the fire. Oh, and there's one more thing you need to know. Hiccup finished before the thing tilted over, and a ton of villagers screamed as the thing went crashing through multiple houses, which made Hiccup wince each time a crash was heard. Sorry, Dad. Hiccup apologized as they could only watch it keep rolling. The thing kept rolling down the village before it ran over multiple ropes that the Vikings were trying to use to keep the dragons restrained, and because of that, this caused all the dragons to break free and steal so many sheep and fish for food supply, and Hiccup looked really nervous as the entire village knew it was his fault. Again. Okay, but I hit a Night Fury, Hiccup said in defense before Stoic started pushing him to get him to go. It's not like the last few times. I mean, I really actually hit it. I think I actually hit two. You are all busy and I had a very clear shot. They went down just past Raven Point. Let's try and get a search party out there before. Hiccup said just as Stoic stopped him again after having enough of this. Stop. Just stop. Every time you step outside, disaster follows. Can't you see we have bigger problems, Hiccup? Winter is almost here and I have an entire village to feed. Stoic said with frustration, which made Hiccup be silent for a few seconds. Well, between you and me, the village could do with a little less feeding, don't you think? Hiccup asked, trying to lighten the mood a bit, which didn't work. This isn't a joke, Hiccup. Why can't you follow the simplest orders? Stoic asked with an upset look as the entire village watched them. I can't stop myself. I see a dragon and I have to just kill it. You know, it's who I am, Dad. Hiccup argued back while Stoic slapped his face hearing this. Oh, you are many things, Hiccup, but a dragon killer is not one of them. Get back to the house. Make sure he gets there, Gobber. Stoic ordered them, which made Gobber start taking him to the house as the other kids laughed at him a bit. Quite the performance. Tough joked while Hiccup just kept his head down. I've never seen anyone mess up that badly. That helped. Snotlet said jokingly, which Hiccup tried brushing off. Thank you, I was trying, so. Hiccup said shamefully while Gobber pushed Snotlet away as all the village had their eyes on him. Hiccup felt really upset. No one believed him about this since it really was true. He was sure he managed to shoot down not just a Night Fury, but maybe a second one that was right beside it at the time. He heard two screeches, and he tried convincing Gobber it was true. I told you, Gobber, I really hit one. I think there were two. I got out of some miracle. Hiccup argued as the sun was finally rising over the village. Sure you did, Hiccup. Gobber replied as that sounded almost impossible for all of them. And he never listens. Hiccup said with frustration with how his father responds to him so much. It runs in the family. Gobber replied again as they were making their way to the house he lived in. And whenever he does, he always is this disappointed scowl, like someone skipped on the meat in a sandwich. Hiccup said as he went into a deep voice to try and intimidate Stoic. Excuse me, barmaid. I'm afraid you brought me the wrong offspring. I wanted an extra large boy with beefy arms. Extra guts and glory on the side. This is a talking fish bone. Hiccup complained while he looked at his short and skinny body, compared to every other Viking who were larger, more muscular, had large beards, helmets. He wasn't anything like that. Now you're thinking about this all wrong. It's not so much what you look like, it's what's inside that he can't stand, Gobber said as Hiccup didn't find that helpful at all. Thank you for summing that up. Hiccup said sarcastically while he started to open the house's door. Look, the point is, stop trying so hard to be something you're not. Gobber explained, which made Hiccup sigh sadly, knowing it's what he's wanted for so long. I just wanted to be one of you guys. Hiccup finished before he closed the door and went into the house. Gobber was left silent hearing all of that, and he knew it wouldn't get better if this went on. And as he was taking his leave, Hiccup secretly went out of the door in the back of the house. He knew he could have hit two dragons, and he's gonna do whatever he could to find them, and he began running off to the forest to hopefully find them. If you guys are enjoying this story, please give it a like, comment your thoughts, give me a follow,